What's good, everyone? OJ here. Welcome back to another video. Today we've got some interesting information. Before we get into that, please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, and click that notification bell to get my videos first. Now let's go ahead and first start off with this Nintendo Direct rumor slash leak based off of a game that was announced at a previous Nintendo Direct. Now this is very interesting because the person who leaked this information could be risking everything when it comes to what they're going to get, because it seems like it was somebody that was a content creator and they can be tracked down pretty easily based on the information that they put out there. So it's very weird for them to try to do something like this when they're probably going to be caught based off of the information that they did list. But let's go ahead and get into it here. So it does seem like next week, Wednesday, June 15th, Nintendo will be having a Nintendo Direct, which doesn't seem too crazy because Nintendo has had multiple Nintendo Directs in June, with the only exception in recent memory was the June 2020. That was the COVID year. There was all sorts of crazy stuff happening, so Nintendo was scrambling, third-party developers scrambling, people were in disarray, people were working from home and not exactly knowing how to get stuff done, security, I mean, there was all sorts of issues, so I understand that. But for the most part, Nintendo always has a E3 week or E3 June type of Nintendo Direct. So it did seem very likely. However, we do actually have apparently a day with June 15th and even a time based off of things here. But remember, this is not officially confirmed. But where did this leak come from? Well, it came from the Reddit leaks and rumors thread. So gaming leaks and rumors thread, and it's been deemed legitimate by the moderators on there. However, they did state that since it's been deemed legitimate, that doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be a Nintendo Direct that day. Now, the source of the email was Reddit user Sam Carr, claims that it lines up with the information they received from other developers, which they had to sign an NDA for. They add that they didn't have to sign an NDA for this one, nor did the publisher ask them to not share the info, which is why they were willing to leak it online. They seem to have forgotten, though, that being given an embargo date means they were asked not to share it, so that's a bridge burnt. And that's what I was talking about before. It's like, well, wait a minute, why would you do this? Because, yeah, you might have not had to sign an NDA, but if you had an embargo, if you got an email saying, hey, like, don't share this to this point or whatever the case is, yeah, you're not supposed to. So, yeah, that's going to not just burn the bridge, that's going to light it on fire, torch it, smoke it down, and put a whole big old Wile E. Coyote stone slab on there and say, do not cross. I mean, this is not something that you want to do. I work in the media as well, and this is something that's definitely going to get you blacklisted from a lot of developers in the future, and potentially even more if you're willing to put information out there when you're not supposed to. So very unfortunate on that one here. Now, they did in this email decide to black out most of it to not spoil the game, but people were able to easily get past this security measure just by boosting the contrast of the image. And it turns out that the game was, or is, neon white, a cross between a first-person shooter and puzzle platformer where cards are used to represent different weapons. It was announced last year at a Nintendo Direct. It's scheduled to release this summer, so it's getting a release when it's part of Nintendo Direct. Makes sense. So I do feel that there's a lesson to be learned here when it comes down to this. I think that you don't need to do this, right? I mean, I don't think that this person felt that he was going to get caught because he blacked out stuff and he was trying to be all sneaky, but he didn't do a very good job of it. But let's get to the actual thing at hand here. Yes, there's probably going to be a Nintendo Direct, but when Nintendo actually announces it, that's when we can get predictions. That's when we can talk about things. That's when we can do all this different stuff and we can discuss it, because I felt that there was going to be a Nintendo Direct in June anyway. But the fact that this person just couldn't wait and let it be had, like let the announcement come and not try to leak it or get ahead or something like that, is just so weird, because they didn't make a video on this. They just put this up on the internet, jeopardizing their own, channel or their own type of content, because they wanted to just say, oh, well, look at this, look at me, and get attention on themselves, which I just don't understand that. And I'll never understand that, because this information was not supposed to be shared. It's an embargo for a game. It's an embargo. So if you got that email, they didn't say, okay, you can share it because you didn't sign an NDA. It's still an embargo, which you're not supposed to share. You're not supposed to share that information at all. So that's very unfortunate, but it does seem like the Nintendo Direct is happening, and And of course, once that does happen, we'll discuss it and all of that, but we'll see what's going down here. Supposedly it's supposed to be 9 a.m., you know, on June 15th, but you never know. Nintendo might kind of delay it or move it around out of spite. No, they probably wouldn't, but you never know. I mean, Nintendo has done some things before. But what do you guys think about this when it comes to this supposed Nintendo Direct? Do you think it's happening? Do you not think it's happening? How do you guys feel about how this person went about it? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the next topic here, guys. We had a huge disaster when it comes to the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition. Oh my gosh, I had so many people tag me about this and not being able to get it. But before we get into actually what happened here, we got to talk about what was going on with it. So Nintendo decided that they were going to do a My Nintendo exclusive with the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition, and there's various reasons for that. And at the My Nintendo store, based on my own shopping experience, they try to put all sorts of like anti-bot, verifying your address, all this different stuff so scalpers can't run amok, because we saw what happened with Xenoblade Chronicles 2. But in turn, so many people went out there to the website that it completely crashed things with Xenoblade Chronicles 3, the Special Edition, and very few people were able to get one. Now, I have had some people on Twitter reach out to me and say, hey, OJ, I was able to get one. Were you able to get one? No, I was not. I was in queue in line for hours just leaving it on there trying to pre-order. Now, let me give you guys my experience, and of course, you can share your experience in the comment section below. So when I first went to the site, it was taking a while just to get there. Once I finally got in after the loading screen saying, hey, you know, don't leave your, place in line and all of that, it kept on trying to click the pre-order, and it said item like availability max or something like that, some type of thing. And it kept on going in and out of that for the longest time. Now the pre-orders went up on June 8th around 8 something a.m. PT time. So it was just like that. And as of the time that I'm even recording this video, multiple hours later, much later, it's still having issues connecting. There is massive site maintenance, and Nintendo even had to put out an apology on Twitter about everything that was happening here. I'm going to read that to you guys. We apologize for any inconvenience that you may be experiencing while attempting to pre-order the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition. The My Nintendo store is experiencing a high volume of traffic, and we appreciate your patience while we look into the issue. So that was what they put out there, and that got a lot of people very angry and saying, oh my gosh, I'm not gonna buy this or that and all this different type of stuff. So I can understand, man, like they had plenty of time to kind of get this together to see what was going on. But I think the real big culprit here is the fact that they had to ship this game in 2 pieces. Like, we got the information that this game was going to be shipped with the physical game itself on like June 29th. So you'll get that in a timely fashion. But the rest of it, like with the art book and the steel case or whatever else, that's going to be shipped at a different point. And the reason why all of that is happening is because the game was moved up a number of months. It was supposed to come out September, but it ended up coming out July instead. So therefore, that caused some issues, because we never saw that with Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, Xenoblade Chronicles X, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. There was never any issue there with that, but those games always had their set release date when they were going to come out exactly. There was no shuffling or anything like that, and Nintendo was able to easily supply what people wanted when it comes to the special edition of those games. Now, obviously with Xenoblade Chronicles 2, there wasn't a ton of those because those are being scalped for ridiculous prices, but people were able to buy it. I remember I was able to buy multiple copies of the Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Special Edition because people weren't buying it. It was even available after the launch of the game. I remember waiting more than a week to actually get the Special Edition on Xenoblade Chronicles 2. So I do feel that this time around, people were not going to make that same mistake. And on top of that, you have a lot of the scalpers that are there ready to go, trying to circumvent the site and everything. So Nintendo did not plan this out very well. It was a disaster. There was not a lot of people that were able to get it. I know some people were. There were probably a number of people that were able to pick up this special edition, but so many people were not able to pick it up. So it's nothing short of a disaster when it comes to the launch of this Xenoblade Chronicles 2 Special Edition. And I'm hoping that Nintendo says that, okay, there is plenty of people that want this. Let's make sure that we have a constant supply all the way throughout from now on, all the way through September and even more, just so there won't be any issues. That can help mitigate a lot of the outrage that people are going through. Heck, even a little bit myself, not being able to just pre-order this, or at least having to wait in line for so long. So that can be a frustrating experience when somebody has to deal with kids or work or other things that they're doing. So I can understand the frustration 100%. Nintendo kind of dropped the ball on that one, but we'll see how they rebound. Hopefully they can swish a three-pointer like Steph Curry or something like that. They can get back on track here because it's not looking so good right now. So what are your thoughts on this debacle so far with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 in the special edition? Let me know your experience in the comment section below. All right, and moving on to the final topic here, guys, we've got a surprise for Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes, a brand new trailer, but also a beefy demo that transfers over to the main game. Yes, sirree. So publisher Nintendo and developer Omega Force have released the Awakened Rivals trailer and a downloadable demo for Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes via the Nintendo eShop. The companies have announced. Now here's an overview of the demo and the game. So in the demo, you can take the role of a lone mercenary on a quest for answers after suffering a brutal defeat at the hands of a mysterious ashen demon. Join Edelgard, Dimitri, Claude, and other Fire Emblem 3 Houses characters and lead your companions in real-time battles that blend the strategy of the Fire Emblem series with action-packed warrior-style gameplay. Take command of the battlefield and use tactical know-how to gain the upper hand, employ flashy combos and powerful special abilities against hordes of enemies from the beginning of the game through the first 3 chapters. The demo will also support local 2-player co-op so you can flex your arms alongside a friend. Plus, you can carry your progress over to the full game when it launches. So very cool stuff here with Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes. People are playing the demo and telling me that it's playing pretty well, so that's definitely good to hear. And I love these themed Warriors games based off of a canon game in this series that they're based off of. I like stuff like this, Age of Calamity, more so than games like Hyrule Warriors and Fire Emblem Warriors, which are just like a mashup of just different characters and a fake story or like a different type of, weird type of story. This is definitely different. It reminds me more of Age of Calamity being set within that specific game world of a game that's really good on the Nintendo Switch, like Fire Emblem 3 Houses. So I'm very excited to get into this one. And I'm so happy that they did a demo that can transfer over to the full game. I think that's the best way with these type of games, with a game like this, to get people to try it out and say, okay, maybe I'll pick it up, not at this point, or maybe down the line they can pick it up as well. So I'm very happy with that, and I cannot wait to get into this. It's coming out on June 24th. So June is going to be a ton of fun with some pretty big games coming out here. So what are your thoughts when it comes to Fire Emblem Warriors 3 Hopes and the demo and everything? Also, the Nintendo Direct leak that happened, kind of crazy with that, right? And of course, the debacle of the Xenoblade Chronicles 3 Special Edition pre-orders. Let me know in the comment section below. All right, guys, that wraps it up for this video here. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. Please make sure you hit that like button, subscribe if you're someone new, click that notification bell, and we will see you for the next video. Peace.